All right. Civil rights. Like I said last week, civil rights involve your ability to participate in life and government. Your ability to participate in life and government. If I have Asian parents, what am I going to be? Asian. So if I walk into a store, I can't help being Asian. I can't be discriminated against because of something I can't help. Now, if I walk in with an FU shirt and no shoes, I choose that. They can tell me you're not coming in here because you chose to do that. They can't say you're born Asian, so you're civil rights is your rights to participate in life and participate in government. Can't be discriminated against. The 14th Amendment tells states that they have to give everyone equal treatment under the law. No state is allowed to give unequal treatment under the law. Everyone has to be treated the same under the law. It was the First Amendment to tell states what they could and couldn't. The other amendments told the federal government what they could and couldn't do. But the 14th Amendment was the first to tell us states, you can't do this or you have to do this. The other amendments are directed towards the federal government. This one's directed towards the states. Central High in Little Rock, Arkansas, 1957. What has happened before this? You have the Board of Education, Brown versus Board of Education. That was 1954. So these were the Little Rock nine black students are trying to get into the high school. Little Rock, Governor Orville Faubus, which in 1957 you could be elected governor with the name Orville Faubus. I bet no one else. I bet no one in 2020 was born Orville Faubus. Sounds like a Shakespeare character or something. Orville Faubus got the Arkansas National Guard, and he blocked the school. He used the Arkansas National Guard to block these students from entering the school. Now, the governor does get to tell the Arkansas National Guard or the Texas National Guard, here's what I need you to do. And most of the time, it's to go clean up after a hurricane, or if there's a fire going on, or natural disaster. This is the only time I know of that the governor used the National Guard to keep kids from getting to school. What happened pretty soon after this? Eisenhower stepped up, federalized those troops, and said, no, you're going to help those kids get into school. Eisenhower federalized these troops, put them under federal control. Said, you're going to escort these kids into the school. And it's really because of television. The civil rights movement really, just like the Protestant Reformation, was completely tied to the print press. The civil rights movement really was tied to television. Because people could see. When you see one group of people acting like living idiots, and you see another group of people just acting normal. Whoa. That's awesome shirt. What? move like this. Look at that. That's awesome.
Tinfoil, I'm sure.
If we take pictures,
That's
it'd be a problem.
Lights off, shut
The big story is Orville Faubus was the governor of Arkansas. Orville Faubus.
That explains it to Arkansas.
I looked up the name Orville. It like was a popular name. It meant something like strong. All right, the civil rights movement. It really started. It did start. You could argue it started decades before, but it really got going in 1955. I think it was 55. Rosa Parks. When she sat down. That's really what kicked off the actual, what's known as the civil rights movement. Now in Montgomery, Alabama, which is a medium-sized town, it's probably a little smaller than Abilene, similar to that. They started a bus boycott, and that's what kicked off the civil rights movement. Was this bus boycott? And that sounds like not a big deal. Who cares about a bus boycott? Well, in most of the country, public transit is a big deal. Especially at that time, people didn't have cars. If people had cars, they had one car. Dad drove it to work. And so the kids and mom had to fend for themselves. And going to the grocery store, going to school, going here, going, just moving around. People depended on public transit. On the East Coast, buses, taxis, trains, subways, that's how people get around. So they organized this bus boycott. And they really had to organize it. They had to do carpools and get people to work and organize stuff. Well, they asked Martin Luther King Jr., who was a brand new preacher in town. He had just started being a preacher at this church. They asked him to lead this bus boycott. And he could have said no, but he decided to say yes. He said yes. That completely changed his life. In return for that, his house got firebombed a few times.
Yeah, what?
Firebombed. It completely changed his life. He could have said no and just been a preacher and lived his life, and not that being a black preacher in Alabama was a great life. So it would have been less difficult for him to not take this on. And it turned into a whole national deal, and then the result of that ended up being the Civil Rights Bill that was passed, the Civil Rights Act, and he eventually lost his life in Memphis. And the speech he gave the night before, that's where he gave the I won't get there with you, the Moses speech, I won't get there with you. I've seen the promised land.
Yeah.
It was almost like a, that was his last speech for himself. I'm gonna get there with you, but I see the promised land. Y'all get there, but I won't. He was a good man. He might have done some crappy stuff as a human being, but he hasn't. He was a good. The Civil Rights Act of 1964. This bill made it illegal to discriminate based on race. In public places. It also had helped voter registration. Hundreds of thousands of Black Americans now actually have the right to vote.
When you said public places, when it was like a privately owned business, they'd be like, you know.
It eventually, okay. I don't know how quick it took hold. But like Walmart's a public place where the public can come and go. I don't know how long it took for that to really get going, that's what it's been. You couldn't say, you couldn't, well, first thing, you couldn't have the separate weight rooms, you couldn't have the separate water fountains. But, yeah, then it eventually said that you can't keep someone from coming in just because their colors different, or sex is different. I've got Martin versus PGA here. This probably goes more with the American with Disabilities Act. Casey Martin was a golfer. He was a good golfer. PGA good.
Whack a ball.
Like he, talent-wise, he was on the verge of going PGA. Problem is, he had this condition where the blood doesn't flow right through his legs, so walking is a problem. He could walk, but not for long periods of time. So he sued the PGA because he could play golf, just couldn't walk the course. And the PGA, part of the rules is you don't have a car. How do you feel about that?
I think I should make an exception.
Yeah, I can see where he's.
If he's good enough to make the PGA.
They should make an exception.
Yeah, he has disability that can't help, but they don't really make exceptions for that. Other sports.
Let me give you an extreme example. I think at some point in my life, I might have had the hands to play in the NFL. Like catching a football. Couldn't get open, but I could catch a football. So if I could have sued the NFL and made them put like weights in their shoes, or if I had like Acme rocket boots, like why they have, I could play in the NFL. Because I could do this part, I just couldn't do this part.
Yeah, if they let the PGA lets it happen, kind of, it's like the whole world.
Yeah.
Well, look at it
How
now,
do you
though.
see that?
Well, to me though,
Like, they do it now.
riding on the cart isn't part of the gameplay. Like what you're talking about, running a route is part of the gameplay. It affects how the game goes, it
Well,
affects the
I
score.
mean-
Whereas riding on a cart
Let's
doesn't.
show that.
Walking 18 holes could possibly have an effect on how they play.
Here's the thing. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you play, they play 5 rounds, play 2 rounds.
Well, I mean,
They play 4.
They get there Tuesday probably, play a practice round on the car, so they probably play 6 rounds.
And this is not running a quarter or running a marathon. But by the time you get to Sunday afternoon, you've walked the course that many times, it's going to have an effect on you. You're going to be fatigued. And yes, he does have this condition, but it is treating him different and changing the rules for one person. Do you have a right to play professional sport?
Teachers, you may now post attendance.
You have an opportunity.
Thank you.
If you can cross all the T's. I was not for it. I'm not against him, but I didn't like the idea of, yeah, it's just
You know, I can do this. Be on.
it's
I
a,
mean, I guess the more I think about the fact that you fatigue, you understand. If they just played one round on one day, I would say they should make an exception because it's not a gameplay. But if they're doing it over the week, then that means that he would not be as tired as he was.
now he did try, he didn't make it. He never made it on the PGA. I think now he might be a golf coach. I want to say, look him up, see. Casey Martin.
Excuse me.
It's at the University of Oregon.
Boom.
Oh wow, what a genius.
He went to Stanford.
Yes, I think he was I think he played with Tiger Woods.
It says he was on the Corn Ferry Tour.
Yeah, he does play on some of that, which is a weird name. I think it's like a company name.
Yeah. Corn Ferry Tour. Amateur tour. It's like,
You're a corn.
That's
It's the Wichita State guy with wings floating around.
Well, this says that he played in the U.S. Open in 1998.
Okay, that was the first. He got like an exemption or something, he never made,
So he
Play.
he didn't
he
qualify.
played, but he never. So like I sat on a bull in a PBR event
He didn't make it past.
and I didn't win it, but I was on one, they pulled the chute, and it moved, believe me, it moved. And I survived, and I am now a man forever.
Wait, did you actually?
Oh, yeah. Tough Hedeman. See, they wanted a coach at the Edgar deal when they first did it. They wanted a coach for every school
Yeah.
to promote it. So we were supposed to ride a steer. And we get there and they said, "No, we don't have any steers. You gotta ride the bulls." Ah, yes. And so I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So mine tried to jump the chute twice.
Oh, man.
And Tough Hedeman, you know who Tough Hedeman is? He's like one of the greatest bull riders in the history of bull riding. He's standing by me in front of my gate, and the bull rears up and tries to jump, and he's like, and looking at that face on him, I about crapped my pants. And Tough Hedeman is scared. But I sat down, and
That's an amazing name. Tough.
and they, how does Dad know? Adriano Mariah, who's a real good bull rider from Brazil, is talking. I'm wearing his vest, and he's talking to me. I'm not hearing a word he's saying. I'm just sitting there on a bull. On a bull. Oh my gosh, I'm on a bull. And they opened it, and he turned, and something happened like right here. I felt something up in here, and I hit the ground. But forever.
Shoe opens, you fall.
Yeah, like he went here and then turned, so it was like a second and a half. He opened it, we went, and I
Probably the longest second and a half of your life.
just sit there and said, "You ready?" I'm like, "Yeah." I know I closed my eyes. But I'm a man now. You can't take that away. I actually sat on a PBR bull. And they opened the chute.
My family car was I jumped off the high cliff.
Yeah.
Did it one time.
It can't be took off.
And I'll be taken away.
Alright, so now we're on Title IX, Title 9.
What was that?
Huh?
What was that?
Oh,
Trying to pull myself up.
I missed it. I didn't see that.
He was that a sneeze?
No, I was just yawning.
Yeah, it makes a little gurgle. I've done that.
He was like,
I've never seen
I
that.
don't know how to do it quite like that.
I wish I'd have seen that. Alright, now Title 9. Have y'all heard, what have y'all heard of Title 9?
It has to do with like equality with gender and stuff.
Yes.
So like you can't hire or fire somebody because
Equal opportunities
whatever they call it. You can fire them
for women. Now,
yeah, you can fire them.
it gets the most, throughout my life, you always heard it was sports. And taxpayer money. Any school that gets taxpayer money, federal money, has to have equal sports for girls and for guys. However many sports you have for guys, you have to have that many sports for girls.
Volleyball and like football.
Now, Alborn, until a few years ago, did not have volleyball, so they couldn't have boys cross country. And then when they offered volleyball, then they could have boys cross country.
Wait, what did they have instead of football?
Well, they had football and then girls cross country. They couldn't have boys cross country because they didn't have, because you had to have the same number of sports. Now, when it comes to funding, I don't know all this stuff, but
Like
the
if we find that
funding,
football and volleyball get the same amount.
it has to be like the number, like there's 100 boys playing sports and 50 girls playing sports. The money has to be proportional.
So
Now, it
like
doesn't-
money per kid?
Yes. Now, it doesn't, when you got baseball, softball, that makes sense. Track, basketball, football, volleyball. That's where it gets tough. Just cut, what if a school spent proportionally more per boy than they do per girl? Does that mean they're discriminating? No. For For a decent helmet, it costs about $400
For
for a
helmet.
decent helmet. And if the kid's laying in a hospital bed, you wanna tell mom, you know, we got a decent helmet. Or you wanna tell them we got the best helmet. So, now we don't buy those $1,000 helmets. But, and the shuts we got with the blue on the top, they have like, those are $900 helmets that we got for half price.
I don't know for half price.
Promotion they were doing one year. So we bought them. So you say, you tell the mom, your kid's wearing a $900 helmet. But it does cost $600 to $800 to outfit a kid to play football. It doesn't cost that much to play volleyball. So.
Pads and shoes, that's all you got.
Shoes and knee pads?
The maddest I got about this, and I'm not anti-girl at all. Lynn Junior College had won 19 straight track national championships between indoor and outdoor. They had won would you call that success?
Yes. In how many years?
Like Tom Brady.
In how many years?
Like straight.
Oh, okay, okay.
19 straight.
Okay.
Around. They canceled the track program in 1997 because they had to have the money to start softball. Now, I was not against starting softball and volleyball. I was against canceling a successful program. You know,
Because that means
Yeah,
getting
that's,
out the coaches.
that's where the money's coming
Wait.
from though, too.
That's what I was about to say. Why'd they cancel that if that's probably their biggest money?
well, they had footballers make money.
Well, I guess they're good at football.
It really made me mad that you were taking these opportunities away. And I wasn't anti-volleyball, softball, any of that, but I wish there was a way to do. Anyway.
What did you call
Before it was Auburn.
Americans with Disabilities Act. This made it to where it's basically any public building. Now, Walmart's a public building.
Well, they don't have steps.
Right. You have to have wheelchair access. There's probably a little more than that. So you had to have ramps, you had to have little dips in the sidewalk, you had to have a certain amount of handicap parking. In public buildings, you have to have, like the courthouse has to have an elevator. The 1800s courthouse in Decatur, because somebody has to be able to get from the bottom floor to the courthouse, or the courtroom. We have a handicap shower in the coach's office, the field house, because we have to have that. People do argue we are handicapped, coaches at Paradise are handicapped. And we probably will never have a coach in a wheelchair or something that needs that. The weirdest thing I ever saw, and it has to be by law, and I guess it makes sense. I was in line at the at TxDOT trying to get my driver's license renewed, and the sign on the door that was Braille, and I went. I hope that people here are not getting
Wait, what was it?
the Braille at the driver's license place.
Oh, yeah. I'm not confused.
It's like, okay, please, hopefully they're not, but.
Yeah, I saw this. One of the Orioles one year put their jerseys, like the names in Braille on their jerseys, and somebody comments like, "Heck yeah, I've been the black the low seeing this."
Well, we've got Braille signs, in school.
You couldn't feel it either.
Yeah, it's just
Flat on the
nobody knew.
It's just like, I don't even understand the point about it.
You can feel it.
Oh, right.
That's impressive though.
There should be Braille on the room number too.
Yeah, I think there is.
We didn't know who's remembering.
I don't think there are in here. It's the newer
So,
elementary school.
there's a picture of little Christie. There's a picture of Lon Swanson. There's a picture of, Michael Scott. Ooh, economics.
Economics. I love when he promises to pay for all those kids' college tuition.
It turns around and just get some batteries.
Yeah, I mean, and then they start getting mad and say, oh, wait, lithium. I love that one.
He ends up giving that one kid a check, though. Give that one kid a check.
Yeah.
Wash it off.
Alright, affirmative action. I'm taping this, so now this is where I could get fired. They don't know me, but y'all know me. After they passed all the anti-discrimination stuff, they're still racist. There's still racism. And so if I'm black and I'm applying to the University of Texas Medical School, denied. So you have to find ways to force integration. So affirmative action is basically quotas.
So many people of color have to
Yes.
be admitted.
Percentages of different races, sexes. You have to have certain percentages.
So, what if, I mean, say it's me against a Middle Eastern person, and I have better grades and stuff than they do, and they get it, and
And
I
that's
don't.
happened before.
That was an argument.
Okay, can I, legal action item take?
Jump down to the last one. The Baki case, I don't know how you say that. B-A-K-K-E. I think this had, look up B-A-K-K-E and see what pops up. I think it was the University of California. I think it was medical school.
Oh, I think that was in her book. I want to say it was USC.
Okay. Close. But this
No,
white guy.
You're right, University of California.
Okay. He sued because he claimed he had the qualifications to get, was it medical school?
I was say, but it said it upheld affirmative action, allowing race to be one of the several factors in college admission.
But they gave him a spot too. They said, yes, you deserve to be here, so we're going to give you that. But also, they were saying we also are going to use race as a determining factor. So that's what affirmative action uses, race as a determining factor to tell who gets in.
It says it's, the court ruled that specific quotas such as 16 out of 100 seats aside for minority students at the University of California, Davis School of Medicine were impermissible.
Okay.
I don't know what.
But they still said race is a determining
Yeah.
factor.
Yeah.
Was that 90s?
78.
78.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So, in the 60s, was this necessary? Did they need it in the 60s to make this happen? Yes, you had to have something to make it happen. Today, I wish they'd do away with this and say no names, no race, no sex on the documents, on the applications. And we just look at the stuff. We don't even know your name, give you a number, and then we see who actually deserves to go. Because I don't care if it's 12 Asian women coming to fight my fire. I don't care as long as you can put the fire out. You know, I'm not going to look and say, oh, you have too many whites or you have too many blacks. This isn't right. I don't care as long as y'all can put the fire out. As long as you're a surgeon, I don't care what you look like, sound like. As long as you can do
Keep it alive.
take care of the gallbladder, I'm fine with that. You know, but I don't know. You can never fix it because there's always going to be racism. And there's always going to be both racisms.
Yeah, you can't change the heart.
You can't. It's always going to be there. I just wish we could find a way to make it work, to where the people that actually deserve to go can go, no matter who you are, what you look like, or whatever. You know. All right. Keep a hold of that. And we're going to do this one. We'll start this one.
Well, she already graduated. It's just for one week.
I was thinking.
Yeah, because she had to graduate to get that job at
Where's she working at?
Graham.
Yeah.
Graham's a cool town.
It is a cool town. I
Yeah,
like
she
that.
likes it a lot, except she says the school district's really annoying because they're very like sometimes she didn't get to write her own lesson plans because they're very like
Yes.
they want to control everything.
Curriculum. Yeah.
Dangerous word.
I hate that word. I hate the word curriculum.
So, yeah, she says she likes it. She loves her kids. It's just,
Curriculum is a part of education. I hate education. I love helping people learn stuff. I hate education.
Yeah, like, she said that one of the teachers, her co-teacher who had been there for like 10 years, basically like what Dr. Hardy does, that position, walked into the classroom and noticed that the kids were doing this worksheet that she didn't recognize. Like, in front of the kids, she yelled at this teacher. And the teacher went and like directly to the superintendent was like, first off, I'm just trying to help my kids learn. Second off, she cannot do that in front of my kids. That's totally
She's totally cut her legs off.
Yeah.
In the words of Coach Herman Boone, you're crippling them. You're crippling them for life. Just cripple them. Cole's dealing with that. Teacher down there, it's in
It's
charge
getting
of
worse.
stuff that hates coaches.
Did you hear about this? Oh, hates coach.
Hates coaches because they, and so you can't do it. Basically, you can't do anything. You can't.
Set there.
Coaches
Well,
don't teach.
It's probably just more strict because you probably have more bad teachers than normal.
Did you hear about that new TEA regulation thing? For what they're about to make it 5th grade below. Right now it's 3rd grade below. Every teacher, no matter if they teach reading or not, they have to take this extra college class
Yes.
on their own time.
Yes.
It's like,
And we already have teacher shortage. That's going to help a lot.
yeah, for real. I'm like, we're
That's
not
gonna
encouraging
help a lot.
people to get into the industry.
Like if they ever came and told me that, that's what would make me go get a job,
Yeah.
and I would retire and go get a job and work.
Did you
Well,
see?
heck, I mean, make a lot of money doing job stuff now too.
Yes, but I don't want to have to do a job.
No, I wouldn't either.
Did you see Kenny Pickett's fake slide?
Yes.
Quarterback.
I happened to be watching that as a
That looked like an ACL about to.
Yeah, on ESPN it says Kenny Pickett's ACL is made of steel.
Yeah, he was running and he faked like he was going to slide, and then he took off and outran everybody in the end zone.
It's creative.
Yeah, except,
You know,
except he's getting wrong.
When is
Next time
Wake-
somebody gets a free shot.
When is Wake Forest gonna be in the ACC championship again?
It was like 15 years ago last time they were.
Now, somehow they're
Who's that?
full of A&M now.
Next time Clemson's crap. That's the next time though.
I saw this meme and it was this guy, he was at the ACC championship game and he was wearing all his Clemson gear. And it was like, when you buy your tickets too early.
Now, the campaign manager, if you are running for Wise County Sheriff, you're probably not having a campaign manager. If you're running for state senator, if you're running for senator, if you're running for president, governor, you've got a campaign manager. They're the coach of your campaign. They make the strategies. They determine what you're going to talk about, what you're going to emphasize. They determine where you're going to go. And how you're going to dress. You'll probably fire this person and hire somebody. Sometimes big campaigns will hire 2 or 3 campaign managers and fire them throughout the campaign.
Is that just because
Like it's not going good. Or you think it ought to be doing better. And these people, if you're a campaign manager, if that's your job, you might be Democrat, you might be Republican, you might be neither one. You might hire yourself out to whoever. But there's people who you hear about during the presidential campaign that you hear about in the next presidential campaign, and the next presidential campaign, because that's what they did. When Clinton beat Bush, Carville, what's his first name? Carville was the bald-headed campaign manager of, I always say that because that's what I remember about it, he was bald-headed. He was from Louisiana, he was Clinton's campaign manager. And he ended up marrying Bush's campaign manager. They got married. Completely political opposite. Up until a couple years ago, Carville would be on the news shows commenting about Democratic policies. But he was married, it was like total opposite.
How would you imagine that household?
We just didn't talk politics. Didn't talk politics at all. Anyway. Swing states. What do you remember about swing states in the presidential election?
They go either way.
Yeah, the 50-50 states could go either way. The states you try to campaign in because you gotta have those electoral votes. I'm gonna show you the most famous political commercial.
Is this one with the educational too?
Yes. This is Daisy Girl from the 1964 Johnson LBJ campaign. Daisy Girl. Showed it one time. It was so controversial they never showed it again. But it did what it was designed to do.
Make people mad.
It scared people to death.
Commercials a minute long.
Give or take.
Are all commercials a minute long? I feel like
Most of them are 30
Yeah.
seconds. Some of them are a minute.
you gotta pay extra.
What's most of them?
Extra for each second.
No, it was about, I think about 30, maybe 15 seconds.
These are the stakes to make a world in which all of God's children can live, or to go into the dark. We must either love each other or we must die.
Vote for President Johnson. The stakes are too high for you to stay home.
Now, what's the most important issue on everybody's mind? And what he's saying is, if you vote for Goldwater, you're voting for nuclear war. He was a big hard line against the communists. If you vote for me, there's not going to be nuclear war.
Big commercial. really.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Point across.
I see why it's commercial, I mean, controversial, it's obviously very to the point, that's pretty good.
But that, today it's changing. Even 5 years ago, campaigns wanted their candidate on TV. Because you get your message out. It's probably not like that. Probably now it's,
I feel like now
He talks bad about the other one.
people go to a television stations, go to your
well, that's what, yeah, get you on there. Now it's more, I would say it's leaning more towards phone stuff.
yeah.
It's cheaper. But, the candidates used to get on Saturday Night Live. They want to get on Saturday Night Live. There's like a 20-year period there where I get my guy on Saturday Night Live, so Bill Clinton in 92 went on Arsenio Hall and played the saxophone. And that kind of swung the election.
What was it?
Bill Clinton went on Arsenio Hall.
Teachers,
and
you
played
have
the
5
saxophone.
minutes left to post attendance.
And
Thank you.
it made him look like a human being, and like kids, like 18 to 20-year-olds, like, oh my gosh, that's cool. He's not an idiot. He's not a dork. And so, a lot of young people voted for him because he played the saxophone.
It's true, like, if you just humanize yourself.
And that's why they went on Saturday Night Live. They found
You
themselves.
don't market yourself as a politician,
Right.
yourself as a person.
Probably not as big a deal today, but
What's that money, dude?
and we'll finish the rest tomorrow.
Pork barrel.
I love that. Why?
Pork